this journey kind of started developing before I decided to get back on YouTube, and it's kind of centered around two books, and I didn't really know that I was learning polemics until, well, now. And those two books are, one is Walter Martin's The Kingdom of the Cults, and the other is James W. Sire's The Universe Next Door. Two similar but slightly different books that ended up presenting the different worldviews of the different world religions, and then breaks them down in a more understandable format and challenges the worldviews. Well, what you learn as you kind of go through the book and understand what polemics is versus apologetics is that they're presenting the worldview, that way you can understand it and then attack it by addressing the different components of the worldview that don't make any sense or are some version of just absolutely not rational or non-historical. Walter Martin's Kingdom of the Cults is a huge book, and it's kind of the quintessential tome if you want to start digging in to how to kind of break down different religions. But I can't remember exactly how long it is. It took me a long time to finish it. It was great. It was super detailed. He goes into like a ton of depth about the Jehovah's Witnesses. It's probably, if not the best resource, one of the best resources that I've ever gone through about Jehovah's Witness stuff, just because of how deep and how detailed it is. But it can be a slog and sometimes insanely boring, because do you really care about some of the random minutia associated with different world religions? And it's good information to know, and I'm not taking anything away from that, but some of it got a little slow. On the faster and easier to consume side is James W. Sire's book, The Universe Next Door. It's much, much smaller, far more concise, but still very pithy, to the point, and gives you very usable takeaways. I enjoyed it a lot more, not so much because Walter Martin's Kingdom of the Cults is a bad book, but The Universe Next Door is super approachable by comparison. And I use both of them now as more of like a reference since I finished reading them. And obviously Walter Martin's being far more detailed, having a lot more info, being a much bigger book, it works better as a reference material than, say, The Universe Next Door. So those are really kind of where the journey started before I knew the journey even started. They gave me kind of some of my first polemical understandings, yet again without knowing that they were polemics. And I'm going to try and put up some synopses or images of the book somewhere in this video whenever I go and do the editing. But they are probably where I would tell anybody to start if you want to go down polemics. Mainly James W. Sire's book, more so than Walter Martin's. I would say Walter Martin's I would get as reference and resource, not to read cover to cover. But The Universe Next Door, there's no reason not to read it cover to cover. I can't remember how many pages it is, but 300, maybe a little bit more. It's not a super huge book. And if I'm wrong on that number, I'll put it on the screen what the actual page count is. But those are where it started. In the next video, we'll kind of maybe dig a little bit deeper into some of the other polemical resources that I stumbled across before I knew what polemics were. Obviously, we all know who David Wood is, and we've all been getting fed polemics before we even knew what polemics were by David Wood. So anyways, please comment below what you think about these two books if you've ever read them, or if you haven't read them, check them out and then comment back what you kind of think you could get from them. Take it easy.